kinds of people are the ones that come into our lives, make us see the sun where we once saw clouds. The people that believe in us so much until we could start believing in ourselves again. They showed their love for us when we couldn't reciprocate and were instrumental in turning our ordinary moments extraordinary. We must find time to stop and thank these people who made differences in our lives. Alive and well, we thank these people for you in front of the whole world. Email us their names and what they did. marklifeshow@gmail.com. These once in a lifetime kind of people who has helped you through a difficult period deserves to be thanked. Name and what they did. marklifeshow@gmail.com. A live and well chat show. Fridays 8 p.m. Facebook Live, hosted by MC. The movies want us to believe every story must end in happily ever after, when in reality some true stories leaves you with more than a sour aftertaste. A star, your
That's enough time to get from LA to New York. Walking. With Asana, your team gets that time back. Asana.
Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Alive and Well today. There are situations in life that make you or someone you know lay on the floor. And although you know no one will come and get you, but you prefer to lay there. Often it's not what we are running to, but what we are running from that's driving us. We can either use our nightmare or horror stories as an excuse to dysfunction or as a fuel to accomplishment. Turn your pressure into power. Make what you are painful for become what you're grateful for. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alive and Well. I'm your host. My name is MC Ma. It's a full house today, ladies and gentlemen. I am joined in the studio by two amazing guests today. And the first person is a performer extraordinary. He was going to be doing some of his hit tracks for us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got in the studio, IPRAIZ. Show him love, please, for me. Show him love. Hello, brother. How you doing?
Hello, sir. I'm all right. Thank God. Good to see you. Wow.
Good to see you. You're alive. We want to hear from you. Do what you do best, and then we'll have a short chat afterwards.
All right.
Over to you, IPRAIZ.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Praise on your song. Whoa, yeah. Whoa. For God to love the world, He gave the Son for me. If I have 10,000 tongues, it will never be enough for it. For it. Now listen, go see. Nobody showed me this kind of love before. No. Oh, Benny, to see. I never see this kind of love before. No. Oh no, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Oh, Benny, to see. Sorry, yeah. Oh, Benny, to see. Now listen, in order for my hand, hey, that wanna be your style, oh. You know that this is point, lie, and you need to can do, yeah. You are perfect in all your ways, brought me from my place. Put me on the rock to stay. Hey, put me on the rock to stay. You are perfect in all your ways. Brought me from my reclaim. Put me on the rock to stay. That's why I go there single. Go see. Cause see, nobody show me this kind of love before, no. Oh, Benny, to see, hey, I never see this kind of love before, no. Hey, everybody, by my left, by my right, by my front and my back, all day, all night, all day, all night, by my left, by my right, by my front and my back, all day, all night, all day. When things fall apart, remember, say, God got your back. Oh. They be want to run you down, run you down, run you down. It's having a living God. Oh. Hey, he never fails, no matter the palaver, no matter the wahala. Just believe in him. He's gonna set you free. You are, hey, no matter what you done, just believe in him. It's gonna set you free. Cause see, oh, nobody showed me this kind of love before, no. Oh, Benny, to see, to see, to see. I never see this kind of love before, no. Oh, no, yeah. Hey, hey, come on, hey. Yes, man. Jason Benny, I love this part. It says, you got to believe, you got to believe it. You got to believe, you got to believe in him. You got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Hey, by my left, by my right, by my front and my back. All day, all night, all day, all night. By my left, by my right, hey, by my front and my back. All day, all night, all day, all night. Powerful. Thank you very much.
I praise, ladies and gentlemen. Classic, inspiring, motivating. Give it up for I praise. Wow, that was amazing. That was simply amazing, on point, and feel good factor was there. Can you tell me what motivates you to do Afro gospel?
I can.
Hip-hop. What motivates you to do Afro hip hop gospel music? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. Don't know why.
Okay. Can everyone else in the studio hear me? Okay, it's just you that can't hear me. I wonder why you can't hear me. Okay. What I'm gonna do is, you still can't hear me, I praise. You still can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is
I can hear you again.
Okay. If you go to the chat box, I'm going to put your details on. Everyone in the studio can hear you. People are typing. Yes, they can hear you. Just give your details. Give your details where they can find you on Instagram. Okay. Put it up there where they can find you on Instagram.
Instagram. Can you hear me? I praise. Can you hear me? No.
Maybe I should go and come back.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, you can find I praise on Instagram, and you can find him on Facebook as well. Just a classic guy there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to the business of the day. Our guest today is somebody that is not a stranger to show business and chat shows. She's an award-winning media personality, famous for hosting and presenting radio shows, as well as corporate and social events. She sits on the advisory board of UK registered charity, Domestic Violence UK, and holds regular fun-filled evenings to raise awareness. A keen communicator who believes everyone has got a story. She will be sharing with us. We've got the one and the only Lady Ayo in the building.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. What an introduction. What an introduction. Thank you so much, MC Mark. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming into the studio today. So, yes, you're welcome to Alive and Well, chat show that represents stories, turn adversity into advantage. Tell us a little bit about your growing up. What did you do when you were growing up? How did you play? What did you eat?
What did I eat? Did you say? Let me just say now that I was an absolutely perfect child. I never got into any trouble. I did all my chores. I was the top of the class. I was let me be real. What can I say about myself? So I was born in the UK, spent the first 10 years of my life here before my parents are Nigerian, before I went back to Nigeria, and I spent another 10 years in Nigeria, so secondary school and university there. And generally, I suppose I'm just an average sort of kind of person. I don't know what else to say. I wasn't very bad, neither was I very good. So I was just kind of like a regular kind of young girl. I've always been sort of kind of sociable. I've always kind of been on the sociable side of things, and not that I had a keen balance between being social and being and studying. Let me just put it like that. So I wasn't too much of the party girl, but then again, I wasn't too much of the what we call in Nigeria efiko. Efiko just means somebody who's always reading and very efficient. So I wasn't an efiko like that, but I was keenly balanced. So after I finished university, I read biology in university and came back to the UK and started working, as you do. You know, you finish uni. For a lot of us who did that, who were in Nigeria and then came back to the UK, it was all a case of like, okay, you come back and then you start working, and then family comes, and you grow your family. Life happens. And then here we are. So in terms of what I used to eat, because you did ask me that specifically, I loved everything. I mean, I loved food generally. I've always been quite adventurous when it comes to food. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for telling us a synopsis. Okay. Alive and well. Now you're sitting on the board of a famous charity everyone knows, Domestic Violence UK. There's more than 100 things you could be doing. Why choose that charity?
So just following on from me coming back to the UK, and like I said, I got a job and I was doing the sort of normal things you do, get a job, have a family and all of that. And then I discovered that I've always had a passion for like talking, communicating. As you said in my bio or my introduction, that I'm a keen communicator, always have been. So I had the opportunity to work on radio some years back. So I worked on a radio station it was an online radio station, and I was given the opportunity to actually I was a news presenter. After being a news presenter, then they gave me a show. So I used to host my own show there. And then I moved from that to working with the station to then working on my own, where I used to host my own radio show, online radio show called Thinking Aloud with Ayo, and that was on another platform. And the purpose of the show was to just highlight good news stories about Nigerians and Africans that live outside of the continent, because we always used to hear about the bad news stories about us being Nigerians or Africans in particular. But I wanted to just highlight the good news stories that people were doing. Everyday people just doing extraordinary things. And so I used to interview I used to come across different people, and I used to showcase them on my show. And I came across this young gentleman who somebody had introduced me to. We hadn't actually met physically, but I think I was introduced to him via LinkedIn or something like that. And he had started this charity, and it was on domestic violence based in the UK. And I got him on the show, and we had a wonderful interview, about 2 hours. And I was just really impressed by his passion, his commitment. And for that sort of topic and that sort of area, normally you see a lot of women involved in the forefront of these sort of charities or work. But this is a youngish guy, young guy with a family who was very committed to helping people in that situation. And so because of him, really, I then got involved with the charity. And so he came on the show a couple of times, had quite good conversations, started to be involved in little bits and pieces here and there. And then after about, I think, 6 or 7 months, he asked me to join or to sit on the advisory board of the charity. So Domestic Violence UK is a UK-based charity. And at the time, they had a lot of support from the Caucasian community.
Yeah.
And so him inviting me on inviting me onto the advisory board was to help with the reach within our community, so the Nigerian or African community, just to bring more awareness about domestic violence to that community. And so, and I've always said that, you don't have to be a victim to be involved in charities like this. It's the same with if you are involved in a cancer research charity or, pets or whatever. You don't have to necessarily be directly impacted by what you're supporting. So people kind of like feel that because I do what I do, it's because I've been a victim myself or I've experienced it personally. And I haven't, but I have come across people who have. And so this is why I do what I do, because I see the work that the charity is doing. I see the impact that it's making. I see the lives that they are changing through the work that they do and the services that they provide. And so that is why I do. That is why I sit on the advisory board of Domestic Violence UK. Hopefully I've answered that question. I know I took a bit of time, but hopefully I got to the crux of what you're asking me there.
You did. You're an excellent communicator.
Thank
now,
you.
We're going to delve into that a little bit, and then we'll talk about. So you've clarified you certainly were not a victim, but do you think a lot of people are aware consequences of domestic violence? There are huge consequences. There are litigable, there are court cases, and all of that. Do you think domestic violence is still prevalent today, despite there's a huge awareness of the fact that there is huge consequence for people who are perpetrators of domestic violence?
Yes, to answer your question, your initial question, yes, I do think domestic violence still exists and there are still perpetrators, and there's more awareness and there's a lot more visibility of maybe the effects of domestic abuse, and maybe there's more visibility now of how people can get help, but there's still not enough. I think I don't think we can ever get to a point. Well, the hope is that they'll get to a point where domestic violence is actually totally eradicated from every community, every country around the world. That would be great if that happens. And even though now, especially within the UK, there have been new laws that have been introduced that actually make it a bit easier to actually prosecute people who are perpetrators. But the issue still, I think, for a lot of people, especially a lot of victims, is having the voice to be able to come forward and say, actually, I am a victim. So you can only prosecute somebody once you know that there's been a crime that's been committed. And if somebody does not report the crime, either because they're too afraid to, or they don't even know how to go about doing that, or they don't even realize that they're actually being abused, then it becomes very difficult to prosecute. So I think although there are laws that have changed and there are laws that have been introduced to kind of like help in this area, we still need to do a lot of work. There's still a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of highlighting what exactly domestic abuse is, what domestic violence is, and to let people know that there is help out there for them and that they don't have to suffer in silence and they don't have to, go through this situation on their own, and that there is help out there.
Okay. Now, thank you for that. People generally believe that women are the victims of domestic violence. So 2 things I want you to do in your response now, before we go on a very short break. 2 things. What exactly are the signs and what is domestic violence? There's a wide belief that women are the only one that suffer from domestic violence. What's your take on
that? We have large numbers of, in terms of reported incidences, yes, women are more known to be victims. There are more reported cases of women being victims of domestic abuse and domestic violence, definitely. But it does not just, unfortunately, it is not just women, it's men as well. So men, women, and in terms of what we're talking about here, it is about I'm talking about relationships. I'm not talking necessarily about child abuse and that sort of thing, which is a totally different topic. But for the purposes of what we're talking about here, yes, both men and women are victims and can be victims of domestic abuse and domestic violence, and both men and women can be perpetrators of domestic abuse and domestic violence.
Do you have any link that people can look up for signs? Can you give us some signs and links, government agencies, or any sort of help that's available there?
There is, fortunately now with this, the internet age and access to even via social media and things like that, there is a lot of help that is out there for people. One of the things that has really impressed me with the work that the charity that I work for does or do is the amount of resource that is available online for people to be signposted, especially within the UK. This is a UK-based charity, signposted to government agencies or to resources that can actually help you. So, for example, there are within the Domestic Violence UK, and I'll put the link up afterwards, or maybe during the break. Domestic Violence UK website has a whole load of resources about how to recognize abuse, what to do if you think that you're being abused, if you're a man or if you're a woman, even the LGBT community, that, agencies that can help there as well. And also, if you come across somebody who is a victim, the sort of information and help that you can give them, because sometimes, even like I said at the beginning, even though I myself was not necessarily a victim, but I do come across people who are, and so knowing what to say that can be helpful is really important, because you want to be able to encourage them and steer them in the right way rather than making them feel even worse than what they do at the moment. So I will put some links up, but there is help out there. One of the messages I definitely wanted to get across coming on to your show this evening was to let people know that there is help out there. There is help. Sometimes you can go through certain situations where you think that you're alone and this is my lot in life, and therefore let me just continue with it and just suffer in silence. You don't have to do that. There is a lot of help out there for both men and women. And sometimes you just need to be given the encouragement to look for the help, and or even sometimes just the steer as to how to look for help or where to go for help, and also to let you know that you are not alone. You're not on your own. There is help out there. You do not have to suffer in silence. The whole point of the charity that I work for is to inspire hope and to let people know that love doesn't hurt and love shouldn't hurt. And so, so there's lots of resource that I can share with people that I'll do when we go on the break, so I can just put it on the link or in the comments so that people can see that.
Brilliant. So there's help out there. First message. Second message: men and women suffer domestic violence, and there are other aspects that you might be able to share. And when we are back from this well-deserving break, Lady Ayos will be sharing with us our own personal, maybe how you've overcome difficulty that helps you to empathize or sympathize, and how and the other things that you're involved in. But I've got IPRAIZ who can now hear us. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Welcome back.
Thank you. You can hear the conversation, how it's been going. You'll do a freestyle for us, and particularly we want to know 2 people that, or 3 people that you can thank that has been part of your journey, and why you do what you do.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. 2 people that have been part of my journey. Yeah, I will thank my parents. Yeah, my parents are like a pillar in my life that have been so helpful. They have been so helpful. They have been supportive from the beginning. So, and I want to thank everyone else that has been supportive in one way or the other. Even you yourself, MC Mark. I was young then when I watch you do what you do. You anchor programs in church, and I'll be like, wow, this man is great. And you've been very helpful and supportive, even why you don't know. I was young, but yeah, you've been there, and everyone else. I call them families. They are not fans, but families.
Family.
Yeah. So thank you,
Let your
everybody,
family
for
hear just a few lyrics as a sign off before you give us your
all right,
details on Instagram and social
all right,
media.
all right. Based on what Lady Ayo said, I just want to do this. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, and it won't be long. You're gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If you have things you need to borrow, and it won't be long. You're gonna need somebody to lean on.
Wow, amazing. Amazing. I praise. That was
Thank you very much, sir.
an interlude. Where can we find you on Instagram, social media?
Yeah, as my name is, that's my
Yes,
Instagram.
I praise.
I praise _ That's my Instagram handle, so you can find me there. And on Facebook, Praise Ishola. Yeah, you can also find me on Facebook, and Twitter, TY Praise Joe. You can find me there on Twitter. So
Awesome. Thank you. Maybe you don't realize doing what you're doing, you're providing a motivation for people to use their talent as opposed
yes, sir.
to taking part in vices and doing all sort of sinister things. What you're
Yeah,
doing, whether actively or inactively, you're telling
yeah.
young people to use their talent positively. Thank you, I praise, for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
We look forward to having you another time.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
Cheers. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Okay, we're back with Ayo Thinking. We started the conversation about domestic violence and how she has been supporting domestic violence charity, not because she was a victim, but because she was able to empathize. Take us a little bit into your story. How have you ever had difficulties in life? How did you overcome them?
So you might not be able to tell, but I'm over 50. So which means I definitely have had difficulties in life. So
Wow.
I think if you've lived for any amount of time, there is stuff that you would have had to go through, overcome. And the fact that we're still here today just means that we are all overcomers in one way or the other, because there's some stuff that I suppose everybody has been through that you thought, oh my, if you look back, you think, how did I get through that? But somehow you did. So too many things to mention about the things that I've been through. And I'm not here to, let anybody have any pity on me, but I've always been somebody who thankfully has had a very strong constitution, let me put it like that, in the sense that I've always been able to look for the good, even in the bad situations. That doesn't mean that I don't get affected by bad situations or, I'm human. So of course, I have emotions. And so I definitely do feel stuff. But I think what generally tends to help me is just knowing that even from the things I've been through in the past, if I got through that and I'm still here, whatever I'm going through now or next, I'll get through that as well. So it's that sort of reminding myself of past battles, past victories, and reminding myself that if I've overcome stuff before, I can overcome stuff again. And I think also just finding things to be positive about. There's a lot of negative stuff that happens, negative stuff around you in the world, but sometimes, let me give you an example. Now, if I was to say to you, I don't know what you have in your where you're situated now, and Sima, but if you're in a room, you have a room, it's got different things in. So if I tell you now to look at in your room and look at everything that is, let's say, red, that has a tint of red in it, can you just have a look around your room now and see how many things have got some red?
Yeah.
Okay.
Including your T-shirt is red.
Okay. So about how many? Just give me a number. But how many things can you see that are red?
Number about 4.
Okay, so now close your eyes and tell me how many things in your room that are black. Close your eyes, don't look around. How many are black?
I can't see anything, so all I can see is just black.
Black. Okay. So okay, close your eyes and tell me the things in your room that are blue. But don't look around.
If I'm closing my eyes, I can't see the things that are blue.
So okay, you can open your eyes now. So the point I want to make is that what you focus on is what you see. Now, if you open your eyes now and have a look around, there's things that are blue, there are things that are black, but the things that you look at are the things that is what you will focus on. So the negative things in your life, if you continue to focus on them, you will ignore the positive things that are going on. So as much as there is red in your room, there is black, there's blue, there are other things. So don't focus too much on the things that are negative. So that's just an analogy I can give you, So there are things that are there that you don't like, but there are lots of things that are there that you can embrace and focus on. So that's one of the other things I do. So when things are not going the way I want,
tell us the positive things that you focus on them. So maybe us and those listening to you might be able to focus on those things.
So it's like if you have a health challenge, times that I've had a health challenge, so I've been laid up in bed, I think of the fact that, okay, I might be laid up in bed and I can't get up, but I have a house, I have a bed that I can lie on. I'm comfortable in the bed. I have food in the house. I've got my kids around who can go and get me stuff. So I could either focus on the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm laid up in bed and I'm ill. I'm not saying that doesn't, I'm not going to deny the fact that I'm in bed and that I'm not well, but I can think about the other things that are going on around me that are positive. So I can, do you see what I mean? So it kind of like lifts your spirit. I've been through situations where it's like personal situations, even in terms of relationships, where it's been very draining and very difficult. And then I remember there was a particular time that I thought to myself, okay, I'm going through this now, but thank God I don't have issues with money at the moment. I have a job, so I have my own finances. And I used to think, oh my gosh, if I didn't have that, and I had that coupled with the other stuff that I'm going on with, how would I cope? So I think it's just, there's always something to be grateful for. There's always something positive to look out for. It might even just be the fact that I have electricity. Do you see what I mean? I have running water. Find something to focus on that is positive. There will always be something there that you can focus on. And that doesn't mean that you bury your head in the sand about the troubles or the problems, but you acknowledge those, okay, this is going on, but however, this is not the sum total of my life. This is not the sum total of my existence. There are other things about me that I can, appreciate and focus on. So that's what I do. I try to look at to have a holistic view of myself rather than focus on one particular thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's a valuable lesson you've shared with us there. It might be simple, but it's effective because when you focus on, no matter how small, you focus on a small thing that is positive, you channel your attention and intention and strength towards that. That's a very valuable lesson. Simple,
and I think that issue of you've been through stuff before. This is not the first, no matter what if you've lived for any amount of time, you would have had challenges before and you've come through them. And it's like, I kind of like equate it to childbirth. Okay, you won't be able to relate to this because you're a guy, but from a woman's point of view. So you go through childbirth. It is painful. It is excruciatingly painful. But at the end of it, you have a child, right? You have a baby. So, and if you remember how painful it was, if you really, really did remember how painful it was, you probably wouldn't want to have another one. But then you remember what happened at the end, that you got the child. So what I'm saying is that you go through hard times, but there's an outcome that kind of like makes the hard times worth it, right? So if you're going through a hard time, focus back to the time that you went through something that was difficult and you overcame it and you survived it and you made somehow, sometimes you don't even know how you did it, but you just think back and, okay, that's true. That happened to me and I'm still here, right? So whatever you're going through, think back to a time that you went through something and you came through it, and just be positive about, okay, if I went through that didn't kill me, this is not going to kill me either. And I'm going to find a way somehow, one way or the other, to get through it as well. I'm a faith person as well. And that has helped me a lot. So my faith and my reliance on God-given abilities and help, and knowing that this is not the sum total of me, that there's good that is going to come. I'll go through some storms, but there's always sunshine. Even from the spiritual text that I read, and I know everybody is different, but the spiritual text I read, it tells me that you might cry for a bit, but in the morning it might be dark and everything during the night, but in the morning it's a new day and it's bright, and so those sort of things remind me that, okay, I am going to go through hard times. It's inevitable. Everybody will, but you will come through it in the end. So it kind of spurs me on as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Again, you've taught us a valuable lesson there, simple but effective. Now, before I go into you telling us about Tawa Chill Out, because that's one of the ways you help people, including yourself, to focus on positive things. Last one thing. What about sometimes the things that we are allegedly going through? Sometimes they are self-inflicted.
True. Yeah, a lot of times they are.
What do you have to say about that?
Well, learn from it. There are some things that you will bring upon yourself, and that's part of life as well. But the good thing about it is that you can learn from it and learn what not to do next time. And if you find yourself in that same position again, it means that maybe you've gone through it, you've come out. If you go through it again, really, ideally, what should happen is that you should learn and not go through that again. But we're human, and we fall down. We're fine. Yeah. Exactly. So learn from it and keep on learning. Keep on learning and keep on. It doesn't help you if you beat yourself up about stuff, and then it's like somebody falls down, and then you sit on the floor, and then you just wail about the fact that you've fallen down. Okay, we've seen that you've fallen down. Get up. Okay, then you take another couple of steps, you fall down again. Okay, we have seen that you're falling down. Get up. So, you just got to keep on going. You've got to learn from your mistakes. We all make mistakes. You got to learn from them. And sometimes, you go through, some people go through certain things once and they learn from it and they never go back again. Some people have to go through it 3 or 4 times before they actually get it. But it's part of, just don't give up on yourself. The fact that you're still here, the fact that you're still alive, the fact that you're still breathing, means that you have an opportunity to not only just be great in yourself, but to influence and impact somebody else. There are people that are waiting for you to shine and come into your own. So don't give up on yourself. We all make mistakes. And some of us are very good, and a lot of people are very good at hiding the fact that they make mistakes. But all of us, we're not, especially if you've lived for a while, that behind all of the gloss and all the shine, there's a human being just like me. So even if you want to appear as if you are totally perfect, we know that you're not. We know that you have your own flaws. So don't look at other people and think, oh my gosh, that person is perfect. No, everybody has their own issues that they're dealing with. So don't compare yourself to somebody else. You focus on you, learn from your mistakes. If you make it, get up again, try again, just keep on going. And you'll get there. You'll make it. Yeah. So
I probably won't stretch you any further, but I was just thinking you fall from it, you get up, then you get into it again, then you make it, then you get up. When do you decide, like, you know what, this is my lot? But I probably won't go into that because that's just
we can. But when you say this is my lot, what do you mean?
You decide that, do you know what, this is my personal mistake, I am going to keep making mistakes, I must well just settle in it.
But it does a very general, if you say a mistake, right? So let's you've got, there's certain things that happen that you say, okay, you know what, this is just me and this is how things are going to be. So is that no longer a mistake? I don't know. It depends on what you're talking about. Yeah,
but that's an important point you raised. That might no longer be a mistake. It might be your destiny. Are you hinting that might just be destiny?
I don't know what the mistake is that you're saying. So, okay, give me an example of a mistake. Give me an example of a mistake. Like stealing by mistake.
People have got different circumstances. We're just throwing feelers out there. But to move you forward. Tell us about Tawa Chill Out.
Okay, so as you can see from my T-shirt, just about thinking aloud. Yeah, so thinking aloud. So I alluded to that at the beginning of the interview where I said that I had a radio show, and it was called Thinking Aloud with Ayo. Cool. And it was just a radio show where I just talked and had guests on and you know, I promoted good news stories about Africans and Nigerians outside of the continent. So Thinking Aloud with Ayo, the short version is TAWA, T-A-W-A, right? So my brand is the TAWA brand. So some people call me Lady TAWA, and all I do is, so under my brand, it's just about promoting good news stories and promoting the goodness about our culture and things like that. So one of the ways in which I do that is via an event called the Tawa Chill Out, which is just a fun evening for mature folks. I know you've been a couple of times as well, 2 or 3 times. Where we come together. It's a sort of, I say it's a no airs and graces feel to it. It's very relaxed, very chilled. We have good music, we have good food, we play games, we have karaoke, and it's for, you know, a mature kind of like audience, because my thing is that, you know, we work hard every day, you know, we raise the kids, we are serious, you know, we've got to be professional and all of that, and sometimes you just want to let your hair down. You just want to have a bit of fun. You want to remember what it was like to play games in the playground and just be childish, but within a safe environment. So that is what the Tawa Chill Out is about. It's just about coming together, having fun, karaoke, play games, just have a laugh. It's a networking aspect to it as well. But then we also raise money for charities. We raise money for Domestic Violence UK. And we've been doing this now for about 5 years. The first event was on the 20th of was in May 2015, and so far we've raised over £11,000 for the charity via raffles and that sort of thing. So it's grown. The very first event we had, I think, was about 50 people, and now easily we could have up to about maybe 300-400 people at an event, but I try and keep the numbers down to make it a bit more interactive and a bit more cozy. So we have about 200, maybe about 230, 240 people. So it's a quarterly event, but of course with COVID now we haven't been able to have any events this year, live events, but we've had some events online via Zoom.
When is the next one?
So the next one is going to be next month. I haven't got the exact date yet, and that's I should have slapped my own wrist for that. But it should be, I think it's going to be the end of August. It's usually on a Sunday evening. But as soon as I have the date confirmed, I shall let you and your community know as well. And it will be on Zoom, and it's just another, you know, it's a fun evening. We have a great DJ who's a working collaboration with a gentleman called DJ Abbas. For those of you who don't know him, is a media consultant within the Black community here in the UK, but he's been very supportive as well. So he's a great DJ as well. So we work quite well together in that. And what I've also done with the event is, because it's about promoting like fundraising and awareness about domestic violence UK within our community, I try as much as possible to keep the event within our community, in the sense that I use the venue I use is African owned. The food that we have is African, just to keep it within the community. Doesn't mean that obviously other people can't attend, and we do have people outside of the community that do attend, but that's the kind of like aim of it as well. And so we have fun, and but we raise funds and awareness for Domestic Violence UK as well, and it's been very successful, and I'm really happy with what we're doing.
That's great. Thank you for coming to share with us. Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, okay. So I'm all over. So I'm on Facebook. I am Ayo Thinking Aloud. But if you put in Ayo Shinoki on Facebook, you'll find me. I'm on Instagram, Ayo Thinking Aloud, or Tower Media Services. I mean, I'll put all the links in the comment section below, so people can find me everywhere. And yeah, and I've actually just today, I've started my podcast. So I have a Tower podcast as well, which is now out on Spotify and on Anchor, So that's a new venture that I'm starting as well. But yeah, so I'm everywhere. But I'll put the links as much as possible in the comment section of this show as well.
That's brilliant. Thank you for joining us. There's quite a lot of comments there for you. Councillor Kate Anolo, I see you. Thank you. Yetunde Banjoko, Kelechi Amadi. There's all of people who've been putting comments in there. What I'll do, I'll send you the link of this video, and then you can share with your loved ones. Thank you, Tawa Thinking Aloud, for doing what you do. You are reinventing the wheel of all this, so that you can know that the fact that you're above 40 or 50, people start to think, oh no, you go into Tower Chillard, you are reinvented, and start to think that, a lot of these young guys, 16, 17, 18, they think they're the only one that know how to have fun.
But we show them. Oh gosh, we show them. We give them a run for their money. Oh yes. Oh, yeah, what absolutely. I should have done, I should have gotten that clip of you dancing, because both of yes, and yeah, of you dancing at the Tower Chill Out. Yeah. So I should have gotten that clip somewhere.
Some other time. It's been great having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and well done with all you're doing as well. I think this is a great initiative as well, and a great platform. Just to especially during this time as well. I know we can't, because normally we see you live and make us laugh live, but it's nice to be able to do this as well. So thank you so much for inviting me, and all the best with all your forward ongoing shows. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye now. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it from the chat show host herself and Tower Chill Out CEO, telling us that what we need to do is to focus on positive. It could be small little things around us that can be positive. Remember, you might be shakeable, but you're unstoppable. It's been alive and well today again. The fact that you can see those scars means you're alive. I'll close with this one from Kirk Franklin, just to let you know that don't give up. The spring of faith is down, the leaves are all